Hey guys, Taro here bringing you this 9th installment of micro tips and tricks for Company of Heroes 2. First up, attacking stationary targets with indirect fire. So let's say you're trying to kill an emplacement with a mortar. Use the barrage and then queue up an attack ground order by holding shift whilst hitting attack ground. This way you get the high rate of fire from the barrage, and at the end of the barrage your mortar will continue firing at the emplacement. By doing this, you avoid situations where at the end of the barrage your mortar tries to switch targets or perhaps stops firing altogether. And if you are busy microing something else or simply forget to start another barrage, this way it is still firing at the intended target. Next is altering turret rotation for going around corners. In this scenario, you're driving around a sharp corner expecting the enemy to be there. The problem is the tank's turret will only start to rotate once you gain line of sight on the enemy, and this delay could mean the difference between winning and losing an engagement, or if you're just trying to poke for one shot, make it significantly slower. If you use attack ground and then hit stop before a shot is fired, turret will start rotating back to forwards as soon as you hit stop. This means you do not have enough time to accelerate and get around the corner before the turret has returned to facing forwards. However, if you use attack ground and actually fire a shot off, the turret will remain facing that direction for 10 seconds. Make sure your tank is finished reloading before you expose yourself and go around the corner. By firing the shot, it may give away the fact that you're about to attack to your opponent. However, during this 10-second period, if you use attack ground and hit stop before firing another shot off, the turret will continue to face in that direction. This can be very useful in prolonged engagements from multiple directions. Now, I will cover how to get the most out of the Sherman smoke. One of the most important things in getting the most out of your Sherman is using the smoke screen ability. Note that it has a minimum range denoted by the dotted red line, inside of which you cannot use the ability. In most cases you will want to use the ability as close to this line as possible, giving the shortest distance before the shell lands, resulting in the fastest possible smoke screen. It is important to note that if you try to use this ability whilst moving, it will cancel your move order. So what you need to do is issue another movement command quickly after the smoke command. This way your tank's movement is only minorly impacted, especially if you're already going at top speed. Here's how it looks in a combat situation. If you are well practiced, it will barely impede your movement at all. Blocking line of sight with smoke will force your opponent to use attack ground to try and hit you, and most people are afraid to chase through smoke for fears on what could be on the other side. And here's how it looks from your opponent's point of view. They won't be able to right click or auto target on your tank, however you do not instantly vanish into the smoke, which does help them to use attack ground. To do the smoke to cover your retreat, as I have been showing, often requires you to scroll the camera backwards so you can see behind your Sherman first. An easy way to bypass this step of scrolling is to issue both the smoke and movement commands on the minimap. And finally, how to use the Jagdpanzer 4's cautious movement. The Vet 1 ability of the Jagdpanzer is cautious movement. When activated, your tank gains camouflage but experiences a movement speed penalty. Currently, the detection range on it is quite low, meaning your units have to get very close to reveal it. Note that there is a camouflaged enemy Jagdpanzer on this point. Now I'm going to use 6 Panzer IVs to attack ground on this point for a minute. And then when we reveal the tank at the end of a minute, note that it has only taken one hit, demonstrating that it is almost impossible to hit the Jagdpanzer IV when it is in camouflage. And here's how that looks on a replay. You can see that the shots phase right through the tank, and only one that lands dead center actually does damage. This means that cautious movement is extremely strong, both for ambushing tanks and avoiding damage in combat situations. There is also a trick to using it. If you attack with cautious movement activated, the recloak time is such that you will not be able to recloak between shots. However, if you deactivate cautious movement, then shoot and reactivate it immediately after the shot, you bypass this recloak time, meaning your tank is only visible for a fraction of a second. With the features shown earlier, this means your tank is almost impossible to kill, as many enemy tanks will not even be able to get a shot off in this brief window of visibility. That's it for this installment, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe and share it with your friends, but not with your enemies. You can also support the continued production of these videos through my Patreon page.